Hi guys, this is another story from a friend. Imagine 6 months of calls, text, and late night videos chat. I thought I found my dream man, but when Steve finally came to visit, my life turned into a nightmare. A grandmother moved into my house. A little boy I didn't know ran through my home. But one night at 3 a.m., I discovered the secret that made me throw them all out but lose everything I owned. Hi, I'm Senam. You can call me Sen. Let's dive right in. 6 good months. That's how long Steve and I kept this long distance thing alive. Every night he called, every morning he texted. We had video calls until my eyes were red. I didn't care. I was so much in love. When we finally met online, I thought finally God has answered my prayers. Steve was tall, handsome, smooth talking, everything I'd prayed for. So when he told me he was finally coming to visit me, my whole body was vibrating. I cleaned my house like a mad woman, bought new bedsheets, fixed my hair fresh. I wanted everything to be perfect. And when he finally arrived, oh baby, Steve was so finer than the pictures. He came bearing flowers, gifts, perfumes, and a small necklace that nearly made me cry. I felt like all my daydream had come true. But what I didn't know was that this was just the beginning. Behind all the flowers and gifts, something darker was waiting for me. The plan was simple. 1 week together before he went back. That first week was magical. Steve was attentive, caring, spending freely. But then 1 week passed. Steve was still in my house. At first, I didn't mind. After all, he was paying for everything groceries, food, outings. To me, that was love. It wasn't until my best friend Hannah came by, the first moment she met Steve, her face changed. Later, she pulled me up aside and said, Baby, something is off about that guy. Shine your eye. I laughed it off. Hannah always hated men. I told myself she was just being dramatic. But that night, as I lay next to Steve, her words wouldn't leave my head. Men like that, they come with baggage. By the third week, Steve dropped the first bomb. We were eating when he suddenly said, Baby, I don't want this long distance thing anymore. I want to relocate here. At first, my heart leaped. Every girl's dream, right? But deep down, a small voice whispered, Too fast. Hannah didn't take it lightly when I told her 6 months online, 3 weeks in person, and this man already wants to relocate. Are you okay? But love had blinded me. That very night, Steve was already browsing apartments online looking so excited, so sure. I told myself, maybe this is what real love looks fast, strong, unstoppable. I had no idea I was about to lose control of my own life. Instead of getting a new apartment, Steve suggested something better that we just live together. When I hesitated, his smile disappeared for the first time ever since he came. You don't want me again? Maybe I should just go back. Those words pierced me like a knife. Out of fear of losing him, I agreed. The honeymoon phase continued. Steve cooked for me, bought me gifts, gave me foot massages. I felt like a princess. One night, his phone rang. He stepped outside to take the call, like a man with the weight of the world on his shoulders. When he came back, his face was heavy. My grandmother, he said, tears almost in his eyes. She is in danger. The man she lives with is abusive. And there's a little boy in that house too. They are suffering. My heart melted. I told him, let them come here. At least they will be safe. Biggest mistake of my life. 2 days later, they arrived with bags, boxes, even furniture. They were not visiting, they were actually moving in. And that's when my home stopped being mine. Grandma started using my things like they were hers: my shower gel, my body scrub, even my clothes. The little boy ran around, switching on every light like NEPA was free. Then came the night that broke me. Steve and I were in bed, and when I turned my head, I saw her, Grandma, standing by the door watching. When I scrambled to cover myself, she laughed and said, "Don't hide. I was just watching so I can give you points. Come to me later, I'll teach you styles." I froze. "But Steve," he laughed. That was when I realized something was very, very wrong. Months passed. Steve Carr mysteriously went to the workshop and never came back. He stopped contributing to bills. I paid for everything: food, water, electricity, gas. He spent his days lounging around while I worked myself to the bone. When I finally confronted him, he flipped and scripted. However, I ended up apologizing. I kept telling myself to be patient. One night, I woke up at 3:15 a.m. and couldn't find Steve. Something pushed me to open the storeroom door, and there he was with Grandma, not his grandmother at all. My legs gave away. I screamed until the neighbors heard. Everything clicked. The boy was his son, and Grandma probably his partner. I threw them out that night with the help of Hannah, who came running the moment I called. But the nightmare wasn't over. The next day, while I was at work, Steve came back with his spare key, cleared the whole house: my TV, my fridge, my microwave, even my laptop was gone. I never saw him again. If there's one thing I learned from this, never ever ignore your instincts. If something feels too fast, too perfect, pause and ask questions. Love should never cost you your sanity, your dignity, or your peace. I thought I had found my dream man, but I had opened my doors to a nightmare. Guys, I know this is a very heavy story, but I had to share it. If you've ever been in a toxic relationship, let's talk in a comment. This is a safe space. No judgment here. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Join the family, like this video, and turn on your notifications. Never miss a story. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.